So the question you're obviously here looking for is, what is a basketball coach looking for in a shooting guard? Now, traditionally, a shooting guard is the player who would be shooting. Players like Ray Allen is a very good example of who a shooting guard is. Somebody who can shoot a three-point shot at a very high level. Now, while pulling up for a jump shot or a three-point shot can get you a job in the NBA, we've seen designated shooters like Matt Thomas do extremely well with making it into the NBA. However, if you're just strictly a three-point shooter, you're going to be very limited on what you can do on the team and how much time you're going to be actually allotted on the court. And that's actually the reason why I'm making this video today. A lot of younger players think that being a shooting guard is just merely shooting three-point shots, jacking up as many as I can or they can, and being able to hit maybe 50% of 12 to 14 threes a game from the three-point line. However, while that may be very efficient on the offensive end, they also need to be able to back it up by playing defense on the other side of the court. So working on your foot speed will not just help you on the offensive side, being able to get past your defenders, but working on foot speed is actually going to be very, very beneficial on the defensive side. If you can get down, stay low, keep your shoulders lower than the offensive player, and you can lock them up, you can make sure that that player is not going to be scoring. Well, guess what? You're now a two-way player. You're a 3-and-D player, and the more skills that you can bring to your team, the more time you're going to get on the court. So for example, if the ball is where you are right now on the court at the point, and I have a man who I'm defending over here, I am one pass away, which means I should be one big step away from them. Or you can be a half a step away in deny, depending on how good this player is. If you're in deny, you have to have your hand between them and the ball, but also you want to also have your knees bent, shoulders still level, shoulders in line with your knees, in line with your toes, so that you're not overreaching. If you're overreaching, that player is going to be cutting back this way, because guess what? You're no longer balanced, you're leaning, and when you lean, that means that more of your power wants to go in that direction, and that player will then just absolutely destroy you with backdoor cuts. Meanwhile, if your defender is out on the corner and the ball is currently up at the point, you should be 1 and 2 big steps away, because now if that player decides to drive, you can help out, you can reach in, but the actual charge should be coming from the other side. You can even take the charge as well, depending on how wide that player is driving, and then you're still able to recover to this side. Meanwhile, if the ball is on the opposite corner or the opposite wing, you need to be 3 steps away, which means that you would be essentially on the side of the key. So far, we've gone over 2 things that a coach will be looking for in a shooting guard. That is being able to shoot, for number 1, obviously. Number 2 is defense. But what is number 3? Number 3 is going to be ball handling skills. The ability to handle the ball, not just doing fancy moves, whether it be an in and out cross or quick jab crosses, whatever it may be, but the ability to handle pressure. It's always nice being able to do the fanciest and one style moves, but if you can't handle a double team, then at that point, you're going to be almost useless as a backup point guard. Yes, that's what I just said, a backup point guard. Because that's essentially what a shooting guard is. I played swing guard when I went down to the States, which means that I was a point guard and shooting guard. I was told by the coach that, yes, you can shoot and you can handle the ball, but can you play defense? Obviously, I could. However, his main thesis, his main idea was point guards are a dime a dozen. And that is very true. Look at how many fantastic, amazing, insanely great point guards there's been that never even got to step foot on an NBA court and never even got to start at the NBA level. This is what I'm talking about. And that is being able to expand your game to do more than one thing. So for example, one thing that made me very good was obviously I could shoot the three. I was very good on help defense, but I was extremely good at driving to the basket. As a point guard, shooting guard combo, swing guard is also what it's called, I was able to get to the basket whenever we set maybe a screen for the point guard, and my 6'5" guy was then guarding my point guard, and myself at 6'2" was now being guarded by maybe a 5'11" or a 6 foot or a 6'1" guy who was maybe 170, 180 pounds. Meanwhile, I was 220 and a little bit more muscular, and I could get to the basket because I was playing bully ball at that point, similar to LeBron James, where he just drives through any defender. You have to expand your game. Be like Kobe Bryant and learn post moves. Expand your game, know every part, because then you can be more valuable overall. So essentially what a coach would be looking for in a shooting guard is going to be shooting, defense, ball handling to be able to back up the point guard. And then if you can expand your game to even more things, being able to drive to the basket, being able to be very good at help defense, being able to handle a press when the point guard gets trapped, things like that. Understanding the game. There is so many aspects of it that first look at the main things that the coaches will look at, and then expand your game so that you can bring even more to the team, which means that you get more playing time. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.